When a district court case is on appeal with the Nevada Supreme Court, it divests the district court of jurisdiction. What that means is that the district court cannot go in and modify any orders while the appeal is pending. The district court can enforce orders, so someone can file a motion for contempt or collect a judgment, collect the money owed. Unless there's a stay in place, then the district court can take actions to enforce their orders, but they can't modify them. And in child custody cases, sometimes there are things that happen where you need to go back to the district court and get a modification of your child custody order, even while a case is on appeal. There are other types of situations where you might need to modify an order while there's a case on appeal as well, but child custody is the most common one where you have something come up and it really needs to be addressed before the appeal is completed. So there's a very specific procedure for what you do when you need to go back to the district court, but a case is on appeal. Now, lawyers will often refer to this process as honeycut because that's the name of the case that used to control this procedure. But we now have a rule in our Rules of Appellate Procedure, Rule 12b, that spells out the procedure as well. And it's somewhat simple, but it needs to be followed. So what you do in this situation, you would file a motion with the district court asking them to state if they're inclined to hear your motion to modify the orders that are on appeal. And if the court enters an order and says, yes, I'm inclined to hear this, then they need to spell that out in their order. And once that happens, then one of the attorneys or the court can notify the Supreme Court and say, hey, we have a case that needs to be remanded back. And that's done through the filing of a request for remand with the Nevada Supreme Court. Then the Nevada Supreme Court will review the request for remand. If indeed the district court is inclined to hear something, then they'll send the case back down to the district court to make that decision. Sometimes that's something super simple and easy to do, or maybe it's something that requires a full open discovery and evidentiary proceedings that might take many months to finish. But regardless, the case remains in the district court during that time period. And at the end of it, if the orders in the district court make the appeal moot, at that point, the appeal can just be dismissed because it's no longer relevant if the new orders supersede them too much. Or maybe the appeal still is pending. Maybe it doesn't affect every single order that's on appeal, or it doesn't even impact the order that it pertains to enough to make the appeal moot. And at that point, then somebody has to notify the Supreme Court that the remand is completed, and then the case goes back up to the appeal, and the appeal will proceed along during that time. Now, during the time the case is on remand, then the briefing gets suspended. There's nothing that has to happen in the appeal during that time. But once it's finished in the district court, the case goes back up to the appellate court, and then it proceeds on with whatever has to happen at that point. And so the Nevada Supreme Court will issue new briefing deadlines if there's briefing that still needs to be done, or if the briefing's completed, they'll then, proceed on with determining whether or not to have oral arguments and then making a decision in that case.